Hey, what's going on everybody? Mark here. Today we have a brand new product, and if you've been following the tech space and this channel, you'll see that we have the actual final video of the Cooler Master Masterhub. Thank you, Cooler Master, for sending this one out. Very hyped to try out the final version of the Masterhub. We did an unboxing preview of the previous version before manufacturing and finalization, and now today we have the final packaged unit. In the other video you could see it was just a white box. They had no real branding to it at all. So this is exciting. We're going to open it up. We do have the other two modules here that we're going to open up and try out, but we're going to try and do this unboxing quick. Here we go. It's basically like a Stream Deck. I'm sure they don't want me saying that, but it doesn't really matter. Stream Deck that really does more in this case. But here we go. This is the first look. Something just fell, some little warranty pad for it or whatever. As you can see, this time we have tons of art. Last time it was very boring, but this is actually pretty stylish. I like the way it opens up color-wise. I even like the little accent of this color here. So it is nice to look at when you open it up. Okay, let's just go through the boxes here and get all of our units out so we can get to the actual meat. Starting with the fader. These are pretty tightly packaged in there. I'm just gonna have to destroy this box a little bit. All right, item number one, the fader. So just for reference, this is actually the old Masterhub. And I actually have the old fader right here that there's no like printing on it at all. You can see that, that's the old one. And then this is the new one. And this is them side by side. And actually the new one has a slightly different texture, if I must say myself. A little bit more gritty, it has a little bit more texture, but it's very similar to the point where if you weren't holding them together, you probably wouldn't notice. But nice little rubber Cooler Master stamp on the bottom middle of these units. And you could see that on all of these little devices, you're gonna have these little metal modules here that you're gonna see how they're gonna be used. They're gonna stick to the main panel. And the fader feels the same. Let's keep the ball rolling. I don't want to get too stuck on the unboxing. On to the next part. We're going to open up the keys. There you go, just like that. And we're going to do yet again, destroy the packaging. This one's pretty well wrapped. They all feel pretty much the same texture wise. I'm actually going to do the plastic on this one because I just want to get a better shot. It's everywhere. Plastic is even on this little. There she is, the Cooler Master keypad, the main unit that you're really looking for when you buy this. Little click test. Before the review, I'm even saying that these feel just a little sticky in my opinion. I'm sure they work fine, but a little sticky, Quick look at the back. We're gonna keep it moving though, This is the rollers. They're just basically big scroll wheels, like giant barrels. Just rip it open for you. It's gonna look like that. It doesn't take up too much space here. Very thin module, but they're just wheels. You can program these wheels, we'll get to that. But on to the main part, the base. And that's gonna be all of what's in the box. Very simple packaging. Doesn't really have any nooks and crannies to miss anything. And here we go. Just like that. I'm trying to do this on camera here. I guess they have a tab, you pull up here. Comes right out, and there's a wire, I believe. I just hit my guitar. There's a wire. Let's get the wire out. All right, same little kickstand thing from last time. I really don't like this thing. Probably gonna talk crap on it in the review, but nonetheless, that's for the bottom of the base. As you can see, this little device that sticks on to give a little leverage. Kinda sucks. Anyway, this is gonna be like a 2-meter braided cable. We have one side that's gonna be right angled, and then we have one side that is just straight. So that's gonna be connecting to your PC. There's no real battery, it's not rechargeable. Everything's gonna be internal battery on this guy. Quick look at the base. This is where you're gonna put all of your modules. Again, I'm not gonna spend too much time. I'm sorry. If you wanna go look at like a more in-depth preview of this device in terms of like setting it up, you can go certainly look at the preview video. I'll put it on the screen. But anyway, I'll give a quick demonstration of the intention of this device. You just gotta line up the MagSafe attachments and make sure that the purple thing is facing up on each module. That's gonna be the indication that it's really seated correctly. More or less, this is like a main layout you can use. So everything, the purple is all facing up. I'll show you right here. That's gonna be an indication that everything's gonna work, because sometimes it seats, but it doesn't actually work. So just make sure you follow that rule. And you could put this like down here. You could alternate this if you want to. I'll show you. Just like that. Very modular device. That's the benefit of it. You can really make it how your hands like to work. You'll see the other things that we're about to unbox, they really do tie in well with this. So if you don't like the faders, you can use 2 of these or 1 dial that I have over here. I'll show you right now. Let's get that open. So this is gonna be the Masterhub knobs. There's 3 knobs with RGB rings. These boxes have a little tape on them, unlike the other one. Just gonna manhandle the box. Being a little impatient right now. Making a mess. There's a lot of pieces. All right, this guy comes right out, and that's going to be the 3 knob module RGB ring. These also click test. The IPS display. I have like 20 cardboard boxes on my floor. There it is, the IPS display. This is a customizable wheel and screen and button. So it clicks, it spins, and you can customize the screen, which is pretty cool. All in this little square module. This one I definitely like to use. You can even put like pictures here. So it's just like a cool aesthetic nonetheless, even if you don't like to use it. Yeah, it's a good call. It's a good call on this one. I don't know about the other one. You can choose if you really like to use this one, but you kind of have to use both of these at once if you want to make the modules, like the layouts work. That's the only downfall of the square ones, because like you kind of have to remove one of the main modules to use the square ones. So if you buy it, you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll understand. But anyway, my last talking point of the unboxing, very textury device. I do like the feeling of it. And then they have like smooth parts for sure, up against contrasted frictiony parts. And then they have like branding, like Cooler Master names embedded into the side, which is nice. But now they actually have, unlike the last model, they have, if you see here, the word DisplayPort on the actual USB. I wasn't sure what these like in and outs do on the pre-manufactured model, but at least they label the DisplayPort out for other features and things like that are soon to come, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I did email them. I can double check this, but they did say that they were using these other USBs for future devices that support the Masterhub, and one of them is obviously for the power and usage of the device. And since this does horizontal or vertical, you have a set of USBs on each side, which is pretty convenient of them to think about. Before the review starts, I just again would like to say this really just needs a kickstand. I don't want to make my own kickstand or get my own, but like it's gonna really make me do that. It's just kind of lame that when it's flat, I don't know, it really needs to sit up, and they don't provide you with a way to really have it stand up right now. So just gonna have to kind of get over that and review the Cooler Master Masterhub. So thank you everyone for sticking it out through the unboxing section. If you are curious on the look and feel of the product, here she is, all in her glory, all the sound effects. But nonetheless, everyone, this is Mark from NoisyPixel.net. Up next is the review of the Cooler Master Masterhub. Find out now.
The Cooler Master Masterhub is basically a modular surface and array of MagSafe seats used to lay out customizable modules that can be rearranged and rotated to your liking. Each module has a different purpose, such as the main hub of buttons to control your stream, transitions, or sound effects, or to manage the volume of multiple audio sources with the fader knobs. As of right now, the available modules consist of an LCD dial, these barrel rollers, a button hub, a triple RGB knob, and the fader platform. Although Cooler Master does have plans to expand their modular offerings, these current choices offer arguably the widest coverage of software customizability and control for content creators and digital professionals. Let's look into Cooler Master's Stream Deck competitor, the Masterhub, to see if changing your brand loyalty is worth the extra cheese. Mechanically and physically, the quality of each module, the touch and feel of the material, and the overall experience are nothing to speak greatly about. Although each dial or button has some sort of identifying texture, it doesn't stand out of the ordinary or seem premium in any way. The Masterhub lacks any engaging tactile exterior. For example, the LCD button on the LCD module is very wobbly and loose feeling. I would have liked to see a bit more use of other materials such as rubber or metal to spruce up the Masterhub's presentation. The Masterhub takes up a lot of space, so can you blame me for being so critical about the way it looks? Anyway, speaking of sprucing it up, the RGB presence is nice to have, but it seems a bit scattered and minimal. I think I would have liked to see RGB used even more here, which is not the normal argument I would make. The Masterhub seems visually boring in relation to how fun of an actual product it is. In addition, there is an RGB strip that adds much needed style to the Masterhub. along with some debossed logos around the edges. Although it seems nice at first, after using the triple dial module, the LED strip is clearly more dim, desaturated, and lacking luminance compared to the dial's RGB. It's hard to unsee, and even out of the corner of my eyes, I long for a more evenly distributed RGB illumination. Circling back to the MagSafe and module conversation, the magnets are very strong and can withstand a bit of grip without falling out of place. However, I can't necessarily speak the same about the metal contact point, which can be found at the bottom right of each module. In the top right section, particularly of my Masterhub, I found any module placed there to be a bit loose, subjecting the module to easily losing MagSafe connection if knocked even in the slightest. The top section was the weariest, but the finicky nature doesn't stop at the top, as any module on its right side, where the MagSafe seat is located, is subject to sensitivity and potential disconnection. I found the general sensitivity and frequency of module disconnections to be quite unfavorable, as you really have to be careful lifting, moving, or shaking the Masterhub. Clearly, the attempt of simplicity in the MagSafe shape, size, and depth hurts the solidity of the magnet's grip and seating. The Cooler Master Masterhub suffers the most from strange software layout and user experience, which we will get deeper into, but more importantly, its physical and tactile experience. Almost everything I encounter when using the Masterhub puts a smile on my face, but it's upsetting to see such a great product fall into the hands of too much plastic. Although most areas and modules are made of plastic, the Masterhub generally feels tanky when assembled. I wouldn't feel comfortable dropping it though, as its weight might break its plastic exterior, but it does feel rather solid when picked up correctly. Moving on, the main button hub module buttons seem a bit sticky, and some buttons feel drastically different than others when clicking, showcasing inconsistencies in mass production of the clear plastic here. It's almost as if the buttons were pressed for 3 years of constant daily use, and they start to get slower on actuation. Not a great haptic response for fresh hardware, and I hope your clicks feel better than mine do. The resolution and pixelation of the buttons are visible, but this is to be expected and doesn't really bother me, even if I'm a resolution nerd. The graphics and icons present clearly enough at a normal viewing distance to be understood. A small but cute talking point, each button icon or graphic shrinks upon press, which is more than just a visual enhancement. It is nice to know if the Masterhub is responding and active, and visually seeing the icons become smaller is a helpful tool for acknowledging device functionality. Regarding in and out connection, the Masterhub provides a 2-meter USB-C braided cable that is rigid but not too stiff where it's annoying to bend. The cable can plug into one of 2 sides of your choice, orienting the Masterhub either vertically or horizontally. Each USB-C is also adjacent to a DisplayPort USB-C out. Although useless today, extra DisplayPort USB-Cs will be used for future display modules and features. Stay tuned everyone, this is a fair tease from Cooler Master here. The placement of the USB-C vertical section is misguided. Most people will use this device on their left hand to align with their keyboard, leaving the right hand open for a mouse. Even if you look on Cooler Master's website, they show the Masterhub on the left of their desks more often than not. If this is the case, it would make more sense for the wire to be guided to the left, not the right. It was a weird play on the manufacturing here and did not go unnoticed. Unfortunately, you won't be able to please everyone in this category, but they definitely did not please me. Granted, this is the only case for the vertical orientation, as the horizontal layout does direct the USB-C to the left. Something worth noting, it doesn't get hot, but the Masterhub's underside gets warm and generates heat simply by being plugged in. I would advise keeping it unplugged if there are no plans to use it for extended durations. Cooler Master advertises a specific kickstand online, which this product desperately needs. Since I don't have one, nor do I have the option to buy one, I am left upset. The kitted stand is basically useless and flat, thus rendering the Masterhub to always sit flat on my desk. It is very hard to use the device this way, and it takes away the efficiency aspect, leaving the Masterhub to collect dust until I have a kickstand. No kickstand, no use. Cooler Master has informed me that an updated kickstand will be available after the product launch. It will offer more versatility and operation angles, along with aftermarket mount support such as floor standing arms or mic boom arms. For now, we hunch over to view the Masterhub on my desk. The Cooler Master Masterhub makes it easy to control any stream or content capture by having full integration and support of major streaming platforms and portals such as Twitch, Streamlabs, OBS, and more. This is expected, but it's nice to confirm. Just like all streamers dream of, it's very easy to use transitions, control individual audio sources with predetermined faders or dials, chain scenes, layouts, and really any live action feature you need. To make it as simple as possible, any controllable hotkey setting in OBS can be mapped to a button or dial on the Masterhub. This also applies to Streamlabs, but OBS and Twitch were used in this review. The features and compatibility don't end there, as the Masterhub also supports basic Windows system functions, web URLs, software, screen capture, and more using Cooler Master's specific new piece of software self-titled Masterhub. You can even find abundant support for the Adobe Creative Suite, Photoshop, Illustrator, and Premiere to be exact. The ability to program any hotkeys or keystrokes to a button is helpful for more than just streaming. If you often forget hotkeys, you can create pages of buttons specific to the software you need, such as a page for all your favorite Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator tools. This feature and the addition of the Adobe Creative Suite hit home and were greatly appreciated. Not only does it work phenomenally, but design-wise, it matches spot on and makes my creative workflow much more engaging. The Masterhub made me want to incorporate this device into my day-to-day, and that is a strong indication of great product design and customer first mentality. The Masterhub software is disorganized or lacks heads-up information. It was a bit hard to find all of the program's features, but after some digging with a microscope, it's rather simple to operate. It just takes some time to get situated, as information and clickable windows don't stick out like they should. A bit of design work can benefit the user experience of the Masterhub overall. Button customization seems abundant, allowing users to change icons from a preloaded library with 90 choices, colors, backgrounds, titles, text font colors, and size: small, medium, large, huge. You can even upload and set your own images for reference, which can be useful for creating complex podcasts or live streams. The icon button customization is rather simple. Still, from what I can tell, it provides no real boundaries for practicality. The features provided were more than enough to organize a show professionally by color, image, design, and more. Diving further into customization and creativity with the Masterhub, creating macros requires combining the multitasking feature with hotkeys. Although this seems over-complex, it still works for advanced keystrokes or button combinations. An example of this would be one button to copy and paste simultaneously. A delightful feature of the Masterhub dial modules, since they are also buttons, is that you can click the dials to cycle through, as far as I'm concerned, as many features as you want. For instance, I can have 10 features linked to one of my RGB dials, and it may get confusing to remember, but you can really pack your Masterhub profiles and layouts out with control, especially with all the pages and profiles, like everything just layers together. If you do it right, you should never run out of space or options to nest features if Cooler Master has no limits in its multifunctional programming. This was a surprising delight to see. Not to mention, don't be afraid to get creative with the customizable dials. The ability to keep spinning creates fun ways to use traditional features such as undo and redo. Spin to win. Before I forget, in terms of RGB customization and settings, there are rather few effects to choose from, such as breathing or color cycle, but that doesn't necessarily bother me. I just figured I would share the news. Unfortunately, you can't control the RGB knobs individually, and only as one unit. In general, you have the option to individually control each available RGB module, or set RGB settings for the entire Cooler Master Masterhub as a whole. I am surprised by how easily each module integrates into various software and applications. I was worried that the customization limits would hinder Masterhub's universal nature, but I can find no accessibility limits from what I can tell. If you want to use the Masterhub to control anything on your PC, you can probably do so. Weirdly enough, you can also configure modules both vertically and horizontally, as long as you don't confuse yourself, as the Masterhub software will recognize the degree of rotation of each module. For instance, you can have faders running left to right on a landscape layout, thus allowing for even more module layouts to play with. The Masterhub has built-in gyros and knows when it is lifted off of a desk. You can manually turn the device with your hand to confuse the device orientation, so just keep that in mind when propping the device up in an unconventional manner. You have the option to plug into either USB-C to your preference and set the orientation of the Masterhub manually in the software window. Overall, during my experience with the Masterhub, I encountered very few to no bugs other than some trouble connecting with my local server to OBS. Most of my problems came with outdated software versions or firmware versions, so once I updated them, I couldn't be happier with the functionality of the device. Twitch TV, YouTube, OBS, and more were easy to control and tweak. Yeah, it's a bit quirky, but it works as intended with seemingly immediate response times. For the price you pay for the Cooler Master Masterhub, which is $399 for the standard kit and $549 for the extra LCD and knob modules, the buttons are quite sticky, the LCD module seems very fragile, and for lack of a better term, it is cheap. The overall aesthetic of the Masterhub just lacks some style. Besides design and manufacturing qualms, the device couldn't be more useful and creative. For those interested, there is an early bird discount available, bringing the price down to $299, a more competitive rate compared to their competitors. Noisy Pixel is giving the Cooler Master Masterhub a C+. Thank you for watching. Noisy Pixel is a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all of our future content. See you, nerds.
Noisy Pixel.